Have you ever looked at your spouse and wondered, when did we become so tired? Not tired of each other, just tired. Tired from work, family responsibilities, financial pressures, health concerns, and trying to hold everything together. Sometimes the greatest challenge in marriage isn't conflict, it's the invisible weight we carry every day, the burdens we never talk about, the stress we silently shoulder, and the emotional exhaustion we hide behind. We say, I'm fine. Today's guest believes unspoken eventually affects how we love. If you've ever felt emotionally drained, overwhelmed, this conversation is for you. Stay with us because today's discussion may help you identify affecting marriage and discover how to begin lifting it all together. So, welcome to Marriage's Real Conversations. I'm Lucille Reddic, the harmony expert. I've been married for over 41 years, a marriage filled with peace, purpose, and passion. Through intentional communication, emotional connection, every week we bring you honest conversations with experts, authors, counselors, and couples who not survive but truly thrive. And joining me is my amazing co-host, Pata Hall. Who people together we are helping couples build stronger marriages, one conversation at a time. Pata?
Thank you. Thank you, Lucille, for that introduction. My name is Pata Hall, and I am a wellness coach, and I focus on building strength from the inside out. I have been married for 39 years, and I am so excited to be here today to share everything with you. Today's conversation is just not about wellness, it's about us individually and how things affect us individually. When we're physically exhausted, mentally overwhelmed, or emotionally depleted, it becomes much harder to communicate with patience, extend grace, or show up for the people we love. Today's discussion is an important reminder that taking care of ourselves isn't selfish. It's one of the greatest gifts that we can give our marriages. I'm looking forward to today's conversation.
Yay! Our guest today, Campbell, also known as the growth motivator. Dr. Lisa is an inspirational speaker, educator, who identify, examine, and release what she calls invisible weight, the emotional burden, leadership, and ships. Through her speaking, coaching, and books, she equips people with practical tools to grow, transition, and become healthier versions of themselves, both personally and professionally. Doc's 20, and together they've learned that strong marriages aren't built on perfection, choosing each other through every season. Today, we're going to explore how the invisible weight we carry can quietly release and can transform the way we love, communicate, and connect with our spouses. Dr. Lisa, welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today during the week of year 15. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Dr. Lisa, I absolutely love to affecting you because I think so many couples know something feels different, but they can't actually start with the question. Help our viewers understand what invisible weight is.
So, when you hear the word weight, you think about a scale, right? Because today, all the media is all about the weight loss medications and all of that, right? So you hear that word weight, you think about what you can see. But when I'm talking about the word weight, in particular, the invisible weight, I'm talking about the things that we unknowingly walk around with because we've normalized it as part of our everyday lives. So things like how on social media we're comparing our marriage to somebody else's marriage, right? Thinking about how we know there's something going on in our marriage, but we just procrastinate to do something about it, procrastinate to have the conversation. So those are some examples of the weight that we allow, honestly, to hold our marriages hostage.
Mm.
Okay. I love that. So why do you think couples don't recognize it?
So Lucille, I think you went out for a moment.
Okay, it's not just
Okay.
me.
No, it's
I
not just, it's not just
was like, oh my gosh, it's me again.
that, the
Oh
devil
no.
always busy. We talking about marriages. I just recently posted a video on my social media channel that was a clip from our wedding, and my pastor was talking about the significance of the ring and how it's round and how it's supposed to just be us in this circle, right? And
Mhm.
so I think that type of teaching doesn't take place today, and people miss that message because
Mhm.
people gonna try to infiltrate your space, and you got to be ready.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Absolutely. So my question was it. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, and I think we don't recognize it because we are so caught up in our individual identities, everyday lives, right? We don't realize just like the grass outside needs to be watered, you got to water your marriage. And sometimes we go on autopilot. I love you, you love
Mhm.
me, all is well when all is not well.
So how does
Mm.
this quietly
Yes,
affect
yes, yes.
marriage?
So how does that
So in my experience, because I'm gonna come on here and be transparent because that's the only way I can be. But I think it can come from past hurt, disappointment. So this is my first marriage. This is my husband's second marriage, right? And so past hurt, disappointment, fear, grief. Sometimes you've been in other relationships, whether they're marriage or not, and you're still grieving what XYZ PDQ did to you. And then you bring that into the marriage, and that invisible weight is just quietly sitting there. Or insecurity, right? As you get older and you navigate some seasons of life, you gain weight. And so now you're insecure about, your body, right? Or you feel guilty because you
Mhm.
haven't done all the things you want to do for you. And so you just quietly go on with life and not realizing your marriage is turning brown like the grass if it don't get water. And so
Mm.
I think many people, we carry it because we've learned to function without it. We've normalized it, right? It's like I think about growing up and having this identity, growing up in the church, right? What my parents, the baby boomers taught me, my grandparents from the 1920s. But one of the things that I realized is that in order for me, Lisa, to become who God has called me to be, I had to recognize that there were some invisible things that was sitting over here and sitting over here that wasn't allowing me to move forward. And so we carry it because it becomes normal.
Wow.
Would have to agree. Can y'all still hear me?
We can
Yeah.
still hear you.
Yes. I would also have to agree that just like you
Okay. All
said,
right.
going to
Good.
your
But
can y'all
go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Lucille.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was like, you
Technical
kind of have a
delay.
delayed reaction too, a little bit, or is it just me? Oh, okay. No, I was just saying, it's just like you just said, Dr. Lisa, it's so easy to get caught up in the day to day because we're trying to move ahead, we're working, we're going to school, we might have kids, health issues, and just going through those challenging seasons. What is something like the little things that we could do like on a daily basis to kind of water that grass so it won't get brown, because we don't notice it until it gets brown. So what can we do before it gets brown? We don't want to replant and resod or any of that. We want to stick with what we have. So what are some of the little things that we can do to kind of keep it green?
So I have one word, and this is really, it's related to marriage, but to me, it's related to all aspects of your life. And it's one word, intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
I chose that word because I think many of us have realized, if you've been married for a while, that strong marriage doesn't happen by accident. You have to be intentional, right? You have to intentionally make time for each other. Our schedules are busy, right? So if I know my husband is traveling this week, then I have to be intentional about, okay, what are we going to do Friday evening? Because that's our date night, right? I can't expect that he going to plan it out because I know he's not going to plan it out. So I plan it out to make sure that we have time for each other. The other thing that's very important, and I want to be very transparent about this, as a Black woman married to a Black man, and everybody, you can marry whoever you want to marry, but I'm married to a Black man. I have to be vulnerable enough to communicate to him, with honesty and love, to be able to protect our connection. And sometimes that means having the hard conversations. And I had to learn how to have those conversations, right? I had to learn how to, I see he go upstairs and sit in the chair by the window. I had to soften up Lisa and learn how to go sit down and tap his leg and say, "Hey, hubby, what's up?" You know what I mean? I had to learn that, but I had to be intentional, because when we first got married, I was strong, Lisa L. Campbell, right? Making moves out here in the world. And that wasn't going to be sustainable for our relationship. And so, just to be clear, because I don't want women to think, well, did you dumb yourself down? No, I just softened Lisa up so that we can be in alignment with each other. And honestly, simultaneously, when I softened, he softened. So we kind of met each other together. And at this stage, 15 years later, now I will tell you, just give you a quick backstory. We were high school sweethearts for about one semester in high school, and we broke up. And 1992, I had a baby, and which was a year after we got out of high school. He appears at my house and was like, "I can't believe the girl who wasn't having sex in high school all of a sudden had a baby." And so I saw him. That was in 1992. And then in 2008, June 2008, we reconnected. And so at this stage in our life, I think we understand that love is not a feeling. It's a daily decision, right? Now, there were some times early on, I look at him in that bed and I'm like, "Oh, I do not like you. You get on my nerves. Anything you do, just your smell get on my nerves." See, people want to sugarcoat this thing, but I've learned that you have to be intentional. You have to be authentic so that you can enjoy each other, right? And one thing I will share with you that I think is important to really highlight, September 2024, I fell and fractured my ankle. You know how when you say the vows and you talk about the sickness and the health, let me tell you, you really realize that somebody loved you when they got to give you a sponge bath and they got to carry you up and down the steps and all the things. That's when you you really know
In
Mhm.
sickness and
You
in
in it.
health.
You in it.
Yep. Absolutely. Bring up an analogy on the watering of the grass. I used to tell people we all is green on the side. When our grass would be green too if we would water it. We don't have to go anywhere else.
But you know, we so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses, and we think the Joneses and them got the best marriage based on what you see on social media. But behind the doors, they knocking each other across the head. Right.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I think is so very important is that when people see you on social media, pictures, videos, or whatever, see you in the grocery store, the same version of you show up. That's when your marriage, you're being authentic. Not that your marriage is perfect, right? Because nobody's marriage is perfect. You all have the the ebbs and the flows, but um I think the biggest challenge that many of us carry is what we carry into the marriage as individuals. That's the one thing that I didn't anticipate. I
Right.
just thought the Bible said the two will become one and it was all gonna work it out.
And you say, I do, and that's it. I do, we did, and we ready, right?
Listen, the growth of your marriage doesn't stop when you say I do. You got to say I do every day.
Yeah, that initial I do is the easy part, right? It's just
Oh,
the
yeah.
day to day. It's that constant watering. You can't say, oh, I haven't watered my grass in 3 days.
You listen, and not only watered, if you think about grass. So I'm here in Chicago, right? And the water bill be kind of high if you want to use your sprinkler. So we be like, Lord, send the rain, because that way we don't have to water the grass. But we water the grass with the rain. We have True Green come and fertilize. We have the lawn service that comes and cut the grass. But then my husband still got to go out there with whatever he going out there with and doing some things. So it's all of those things collectively that's allowing the grass to look like it looks. And by comparison, no shade to my neighbor, but if I look at my neighbor's house, they got a conflict about how the grass should be cut, who should cut the grass. And so right now, their grass is unstable, right?
Mhm.
It's those invisible things
Mhm.
that's not allowing that growth to happen. And one of the things I realized very recently, I lost my grandfather October 2024 or October 2025.
Wow.
So he was 52 when I was born. I was 52 when he died. And when I reflect on how he watered everything in his life, I realize that if you really want to see God work, you got to do the work. You know that scripture that says, what's that scripture? 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show yourself approved. You got to study to show yourself approved to your mate, your marriage, your union, in order for it to continue down the path that you want it to. Nobody gets married to get divorced, right? But if you don't do the work, what could happen?
That part.
You get
That
divorced or
part
you
right there.
stay
You
in an
got to
unhappy situation.
exactly. You know what? I think so. Sales examples that you gave, and I'm taking notes over here too because I love the way that you said all of those collective things. Y'all to look good. I need to do some of those over here, but it takes all of those things. I think when we get in, it checked the box. We had the wedding. We are cohabiting, and we're sharing bills, and maybe, and we check those off, and we think, okay, we're here now. We have arrived. When that's just the beginning.
Listen,
All
that's
of
the preamble. That's the preamble to the whole thing.
Only the beginning.
And
Only the
when
beginning.
you are pregnant, they got that book, like What to Expect When You Expecting.
Yes.
I think that there needs
Mhm.
to be some more resources, keeping in mind, just like a car, every marriage is different. You got the
Right.
two that are coming together. And I didn't realize this until recently. But if I really, had a known this, I brought to the marriage what I learned from my parents' marriage, what I learned from my grandparents at a number one marriage, my grandparents at a two, my aunts, my uncles, all of that, any trauma that I saw them go through, I brought that with me thinking,
Mhm.
oh, mine not going to be like that and all of that, not realizing that that was hindering my garden that I was growing over here. My
Mhm.
garden is not the same as their
Yeah.
garden.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And that just
And
really
you bring
goes
up a
back to
valid
what you're
point.
saying about being intentional.
Yes, a valid that we got all these different perspectives. We just, and your husband has these different perspectives too that he's bringing. So to mesh those perspectives, and you know, in our community, it's different from heard and what I've experienced. We want to say, we tell our young girls, you don't need a man, and you got your own money over here on the side. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having your own money and stuff over here on the side. But if you act the way where you act like you don't need your husband, he don't have a place. And he's not gonna stay where he don't have a
Hmm.
place. You gotta make him feel wanted
Yes, yes.
and needed and give him a spot. If I'm gonna be the strong black woman, then I just need to be the single strong black woman.
But see, I think the problem is I grew up in the church, right? And so I think many of us it was ingrained in our brains this word submission and what that actually looks like. When in actuality you should be submitting to each other, and then submitting to Christ, and then submitting to each other, and that's how you build that bond, right? You honor your connection and your individuality, not to say that you're taking away from who you are. But I'm gonna tell you, ladies, Miss Lisa, oh honey, she ain't want him to tell her nothing. And I slowly but surely, but I also realized that because of what he brought to the marriage from his past relationship, I had to soften me so that I could help him continue healing from his previous marriage because he wasn't fully healed. He had a lot of weight that he dealt with that was invisible, that he
Mhm.
didn't realize that was there. And through love and patience, I was able to help him pull back those layers. So it's daily
Mhm.
work. It's a full-time job.
That it is. That it
Yes.
is.
But I love that you said love and patience because I could see where or somebody else would say, "Oh, I ain't got time for this."
Then what you doing? You listen, you need to check out you need to have some deep conversations. This is the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show.
So,
You need to have some strong conversations before you get in love and all the things that happen first. Because when you on the other side of it and you done merged all these things, some of us feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Maybe on the front end, and again,
Mhm.
we didn't have these conversations. There are some conversations
Right.
that you need to have on the front end so that when you experience those rough times, you can allow yourselves to be able to reconnect, to have that time to talk, to laugh, to reflect, to stay emotionally close. And if you're not willing to do those things, maybe you just want a roommate. I don't want a roommate. I want somebody that's going to bathe me when I can't bathe myself. That's going to pick me up when I can't walk. That's going to embrace me when I'm losing it, right? That's the kind of love I want. That's the kind of love I'm getting.
Absolutely.
Yes. On what you were saying too about the hard conversations, what about body language? Because a lot of times too, we don't have the verbal conversations, but sometimes, especially as women, our body language can say everything. Ooh. And a lot of times it's negative. So how do you counteract? What will you tell our audience about, not to watch your body language, but just be aware of it and maybe more intentional? Like what advice would you give to our audience for that?
So number one, you have to listen to your spouse, because if they keep telling you that you're doing something that's offending them or hurting them, you have to listen. So I'm just going to tell you about me. He get on my nerves. I be up in here singing a hymn. I listen. And he know when I go in on a hymn.
That's it.
And so I'm still a strong woman, right? He tells me that he's amazed at the things that I can do. I'm a strong woman. I come from a really solid, foundation of strong women. But I've learned how to soften up the version of me that he gets so that he feels safe in his own household. He feels like I respect him as the head of our household, right? And again, I had to get to that because when we first got married, he was an electrician apprentice, and I've always had all the hustles and all the things, working like crazy. And so my income was higher than his, right? And so I think unconsciously, I thought I was in control, right? Because I had held the purse strings. And now let's fast forward to today, where I don't have a full-time job. He's bringing in more money than me. But our respect is mutual. Our communication is, we're not afraid. And let me just, because I want folks to think, oh, their marriage is perfect. No, it's not. Because there are sometimes one little thing will set us off into an argument. I'm like, how did we get here? We were just laughing. We were just watching Beyond the Gates. And now all of a sudden we're in this full-blown argument. But I think there's a couple of things, because you asked me about body language. And so one thing, and this probably drives them crazy, but I have had to learn how to pause, like before I react, because as a woman, we quick.
Yep.
5 seconds. One
word's coming out.
Yes. And so pausing before reacting, and I'm just going to tell you about me. I had to really think about, am I reacting because of something that he did, or am I reacting because of a decision that I made that I'm regretting, right? Is it something that's deeper that triggered me that has nothing to do with him?
Mm-hmm.
He just happens to be in my line of sight. And so I had, because, we can be like, you can get your stance, like, you just need to just cross your legs, smile,
say, bite your tongue,
yes, smile, and listening with a softer heart. I think that's the one thing over the last 15 years of our marriage that I had to listen with a softer heart. And, strong woman, INDEP, you know that song.
Yeah.
I had to soften it up.
I love that. The fact that you were able to soften stuff up a little bit. But I love what you said just a minute ago about sometimes we can be or irritated, frustrated. It may look like we mad. I mean, all of those things, it just looks mad probably to the other person, overwhelmed. But I remember the conversation that I had with my husband. This was early on in our marriage, but definitely year 5. So well enough into it. But I just realized I said I was snappy with him, and he said, "Baby, I'm on period. It ain't got nothing to do with you."
You said period. I'm
It's
like,
me
what's the
because
period?
I was peeing missing.
Listen,
I was on my
and you know
monthly.
what?
Am I saying it right?
This the other thing that people need to understand going into marriage, that you can't change that person, but also that individually you are going to go through, for women, the seasons of womanhood and what that looks like. My husband, like, I don't know if I need to keep it hot, cold, or what in here. Like, I just don't know what to do. Last night I said, can you turn the fan on? He said no. I'm like, no. He like, because I turned it on, you say you cold. I turned it off, you say you hot. I give up. And so, being able to navigate those different seasons, and even though they have a term for what we go through, men have a season of their life that they go through as well. And unfortunately, men don't have conversations like we do. Like we cry, we talk about all the things, right?
Right.
They kind of hold it in. And so being that softer version of you, right? Makes room to have those conversations. And for me, because my whole thing that I've been literally focused on the last 7 years is about getting rid of things that no longer serve me, I realize that when I feel lighter, I'm more present in my marriage, in my relationships. I'm more patient,
Yep.
I'm more loving, and I'm more emotionally available, because I realized that there were some times that he was going through things that I was so caught up in me that I ignored what he was going through. So I had to lighten up Lisa's plate so that she can be able to help Paul with his plate.
Yeah,
Got you.
I love that.
Got you.
So
Now,
once
does that
someone
go both
recognizes
ways?
that they're carrying, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, does that go both
Go ahead,
ways?
Pat.
Because you talked about softening up yourself, making your plate a little leaner to help him. Is that both ways? Has he done the same thing for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the things that we kind of joke about, Lisa is serial entrepreneur doing all the things. And he is your traditional, I'm gonna work this one shift and then I want to come home, I want to have my dinner. Right. And so we've had to learn how to intertwine both aspects of our personalities. Like, I'll just give a perfect example. If I go out and look in that other room over there and I see him on the couch just watching TV and I'm still working, I used to get so mad because I'm like, what you doing? I'm working. I'm relaxing. I'm done. And so we've each had to learn, so it goes both ways. So the answer to the question, yes, it actually is going both ways.
Okay.
And again, even though we're 15 years in marriage, we reconnected 2008. We initially met in 1986. Every day we learn something new about each other. Every single day.
Isn't that amazing though? It's like no matter how
is.
long you have been with someone, we're the same way. And it's like, I've known you all this time. I didn't know that about you. How is this that I don't know this?
Well, you know what I realize? We think we know things about them when there are so many layers to them that haven't been peeled back. And then they show up one day and you like, who is this dude?
For sure.
Ab-
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So once someone recognizes that way, what do you say is the first step? Uh-oh, what is that?
It sounds like we got a
Is that
storm
something on your
coming.
end?
There's a storm out on the ocean.
I warned you guys. I
yes,
told
you
you it's coming. It's coming.
did. Yeah,
Y'all
you
can hear
did.
my thunder.
Yep, we heard it.
Look, tell the
So-
audience that's not a sound effect. That is Mother Nature.
Oh
Okay,
my
got
goodness. Listen, Mother Nature has been busy this year. We've gotten some tornadoes in Chicago that it's just like, where's this coming from? So, Lucille, now I forgot your question.
One recognizes that they're carrying invisible weight. What is the first step?
First of all, be honest. You have to be honest. And I think being honest really requires you to do some self-reflection. And for me, I had to ask myself, what am I carrying that I never really named? And so I know you're like, she using this word weight a lot, because for a long time, I was carrying a lot of physical weight. Actually, I'm still carrying more physical weight than I would like to, but that's what I could see. I had a name for it because, in the medical community, they call it obesity. And then your obesity translates to a body mass index, right? So there was a name for it. But then I realized it was all of these other invisible things that I hadn't really put a name to. One in particular was how my emotions showed up in conversations, right? How they showed up in reactions. And giving myself permission to verbalize, I'm tired, or I'm hurt, or I'm overwhelmed, right? Or that I'm just ready for this part of our life to change. Like my husband has said to me multiple times that he wants to retire. And so one of the things that recently clicked for me is, okay, Lisa, you're on this entrepreneurship journey, ever evolving entrepreneurship journey. But you really need to respect the fact that he wants to retire. So some of those impulsive things you would do, like for example, oh y'all, don't throw darts at me. But one day I had went to this conference and the presenter was very good at what she did. And I done signed up for this multiple digit mastermind, did not talk to him about it. And then it got to a point where I couldn't pay for it. And that's when he found out how much it costs. So when I say the intentional part, the honesty part, I'm saying this from experience because I realized I wasn't showing up the way that I should have been showing up. And I was holding all of these things in, internally, which was causing bigger problems, right? So now I realize that I have to put a name to how I'm feeling, even if I don't have a name for it immediately. Emotional is my biggest one, right? But my other one is mental, right? What my mind is thinking about. And so what I've learned to do is put a name to it and then verbalize, this is what I'm feeling. And I want to work through it so I can show up better for us.
I love that.
But I got to name it. And sometimes I don't have a name for it. And when I say I don't have a name for it, for me, it was showing up where I was just breaking down, crying everywhere. In the tub, in the car, sitting on the couch, watching TV, sitting at dinner, eating. And I realized I was going through this unraveling because I got out of alignment with who Lisa was supposed to be doing at this point in her life, right? I had normalized the life that I was living, but that life wasn't sustainable for this other side of 50, the other side of the 15 years of this marriage. But I literally had to allow myself to go through the unraveling and be willing to do the work. You know how some people say, I'm 53 years old and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. No, you can rewire your mind. You can rewire your spirit, your relationship, if you're willing to do the work. All things are possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As long as there's breath in your body, you can change.
And we're constantly growing. And love the part we talked about giving it a name, because this reminds me of, I think I alluded to it a little while ago. It was disappointment, frustration, overwhelm. It just all showed up as just me being mad and expressed what I was feeling. But as I've grown older and evolved, and you're gonna be just one place all the time, we're gonna be constantly growing and evolving, and being intentional as for myself, for my family, and for my husband. I needed to be able to have words for this, just lying or just mad and throwing stuff or whatever it is. You know, I needed to be able to, I had really name it and put some words and stuff to it. And I think that if there's anybody else, I recommend you get to the point. I don't know if am I talking things out, listening to things in order for me to be able to do that. What the thing just a minute ago, I wrote down as one of your names, deception, because I talk about in my heart, honest. Number one, that's what the H in heart is for. It's for honesty, having real, honest conversations, and so being deceptive. And it definitely, would you say it caused you not to show up as your best self?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I've learned that when you have real conversations, it gives you permission to talk about what's happening beneath the surface. I'm flying off the handle, but that's not really the root. The root is I done signed up for this thing, and it costs all this money and I can't pay for it. And you know, that's the root. But I listen,
and I don't want to tell this man about this.
Listen, and it's 6 months later. He knew I was in it, but he didn't know the price tag. And he just and and one of the things that I realized that, you know, because men tend to hold things in, because I didn't talk about it initially, now I opened the door for him to hold on to it for a long time before he could release it and move forward, right? So I think I've learned that, because we're talking about the Stronger, Deeper Marriage show, that stronger marriages are built on when people feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, you're not going to be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all about exposing yourself. Like you say, not only the layers for your spouse, but your layers. And we don't want to expose ourselves, because the more you expose yourself, you open up the window the more you can be hurt, and no one wants to be hurt. And I think it's just a natural protective or defensive that our body just does, because I don't know what he's going to say, or, you just like, I'm okay, I'm good, because you just don't want that exposure. And it's kind of hard. Like you said, you have to be intentional, just like you said, Dr. Lisa, about, okay, I'm not comfortable with this, but it has to be said and it has to be done. So let me name it and let's have a conversation.
Yes. I love how practical all of this is. So, Dr. Lisa, I want to go ahead and give the floor to Pata. She always gives our audience a wellness minute.
All right. Well, Dr. Lisa, I love this conversation because it reminds us that wellness is not just physical. Sometimes we think wellness is about exercise, eating better, getting enough sleep, or going to the doctor. And all of those things do matter, but emotional weight affects the body too. Stress, grief that we talked about, resentment, disappointment, and unspoken pressures it doesn't stay in our minds. They show up in our nervous systems, our energy, our patience, our tone, body language, and even in how we present to the people we love. First and foremost, our spouses, because they are the ones that are closest to us. And in marriage, that invisible weight can quietly create distance, not because the love is gone, but because one or both people may be carrying more than they have words for. Like you said, we got to put a name on it. We have to pay attention to what we're carrying before it starts speaking for you. Before the short response, the sharp tone, the withdrawal, emotional shutdown, because we're good at shutting down. We got to pause and ask ourselves, what am I carrying right now that my spouse may not see? That one question can create space for honesty instead of defensiveness. It gives couples a chance to stop fighting each other and begin facing the weight together, because a healthier marriage often begins with a healthier person, someone who is willing to notice, name, and gently release what they were never meant to carry alone. So I love your conversation, and in my mind, put a name on it, because I never knew. You just taught me something today.
You got to name it and claim it so you can throw it in the fire.
And I guess you need a distinct name, not just to be like, I'm going through something right now. I'm just going through something right now.
Oh, right? You know what? We've normalized saying I'm going through something. What are you going through? What are you feeling? Right. And sometimes for me, I didn't know what I was feeling. And once I figured it out, I started writing it down. Because I needed to understand what triggers in my life cause it to show up. But I had to sit with it, because I'm trying to make 100. My granddaddy was 104. I'm trying to get to 100.
I know that's right. Me too.
And my grandparents were married for like 78 years.
Wow.
My goodness.
We started late, but we can get to the number. We can get to a big number. We can get to 50, Lord willing.
Yeah, we all just gonna keep watering that grass.
Yes. Doing the maintenance. You got to do the maintenance. You got to trim the sides, right? And when something goes awry, you got course correct. Like right now, we got these little, I don't know what they call, voles in our backyard, and they just, making these little circles in the ground. They doing too much. Yeah. They don't even pay rent.
Well, Dr. Lisa,
your husband ain't start blowing them up yet, huh? He start blowing them up.
Listen, he's so frustrated. He had to come back in the house because they just took over. And the problem is, we had an Amazon that was built on this open land, and so the earth was disrupted. So they had to have somewhere to go.
Oh.
So he actually said he might take all the grass up and just put rocks down.
Then that's gonna be some other problems. Well, let me ask you this. every couple watching sat down tonight, what's one conversation they should have?
Create a safe space for the honesty to begin. You got to create that safe space. Recently, we've been hearing about psychological safety in the workplace. You have to be psychologically safe in your marriage. And that means just because you're not knocking somebody across their head does not mean that they feel safe in that household. Do they feel safe enough to verbalize how they're feeling? That's the safety that you need.
Mm.
So create that space. It's so important.
Okay, okay. So if I ask you the question of is like for our country to remember, or is there something else? What's the big overarching?
So big overarching, I'm going to say 4 things. Number 1, ask yourself, what is something that I'm silently carrying that I don't fully understand? When you're communicating with your partner, listen, as my mother and them used to say, listen with your good ear without interrupting, correcting, or defending. And when you are in those safe conversations, you're not trying to fix everything right now. You're just trying to understand. You're just trying to listen. And then that's where you create that space for that honesty to begin. Because, and listen, once it happens, y'all gonna have some fun. Because it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. You're gonna feel lighter.
Absolutely.
Well, that was one.
Yeah, that was the 4. So identify what you've been carrying silently, and you got to put a name on it. And then when you open up that space to have those conversations, listen with your good ear. Listen with your good ear. Right.
Okay.
And
okay.
Listen to understand and not listen to respond. There's a difference. Because women, they start talking and we immediately got that comeback. I like to say a woman is like a library. You open up that book, she gonna read you. You gotta listen to understand. And then so the third thing is about when you start to have these conversations, those deeper conversations, you're not trying to fix everything with one conversation. You're just trying to start to water your lawn. Right? Because you can't water it one time and it's going to be green. Right? Because if the sun is too hot, it's going to get brown before it gets green again. And I don't have a green thumb. Let me just tell you that I do not do anything with the grass, but look at it. But then the 4th thing is about the safe space so that honesty can begin. And today is the best time to start that one conversation. And maybe the conversation doesn't need to happen at home. The conversation might be an ice cream conversation, right? Because sometimes, y'all won't act up in public. So go and have some ice cream. Some of y'all will act up in public. But listen, when we first got married, Paul, his voice kind of gets louder. And I used to tell him, don't be getting loud with me in public. I don't like that, right? So as you begin to learn yourself better, you can educate your spouse on the things that make you not feel comfortable, because nobody wants to feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you mentioned the volume of your husband's voice. When I was low, that there was some when I was still with my birth mother, there was some abuse or whatever, and so that has carried abuse. But when a man raises his voice at me, it's something about me that just shuts down, and I had to, hey, when you get loud with me like that, it scares me, so I mean it or whatever, but it scares me. Please do not do that. I don't care if therapist in public or behind closed door. That voice type of thing, especially if we having some intense conversation or something, or he's trying to get something across to me. No, 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 don't do that. It really does. And
Mhm.
even if I'm in the
And you know what I call
workplace, I
that?
had a manager or something that did that. What do
Go
you call
ahead.
that? That's some invisible weight, huh? Yeah.
Actually, it is invisible weight, but it's historical weight
Mm.
because it's something from
Mm.
your past that he doesn't even know about. So when I tell you, I've been studying this weight because I was so out of alignment. I had to name all of these things that was holding me hostage, that was holding my relation, not just marriage, but relationships with other people. It's the invisible weight that we're not naming. And so I actually have
Mm.
identified like these 7 types of invisible weight because I felt like they were
Oh, you
all
want to share?
intertwined. Huh?
I said, do you want to share those 7?
Yes. So the first is, of course, we've been talking about physical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also emotional, there's mental weight, there's procrastination weight, there's comparative weight, there's historical weight. Let's see, did I get 6? So physical, mental, emotional, comparative, procrastination, historical. I think I gave all 7 to you. But those
Okay.
those are the 7 types of weight that I really have been working on resolving in myself, but also have been helping others to uncover as well as a growth coach. Because I'm not a therapist. I have to say that I am not a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really believe that there are ways to have better lives if you're willing to water that grass and grow.
Oh yes, absolutely. What? Absolutely. One thing that I love about you remind us that marriages aren't damaged by one big event. They're often weighed down by burdens that we've never shared, we've never named, we've never talked about. But healing begins the moment we burdens. Thank you for
Hmm.
reminding us that love grows stronger when couples choose honesty, empathy, and partnership. So the heart challenge is simple. Those of you in the audience, ask your spouse what's one burden you've been carrying about. Then listen without interrupting. Listen to, just like you just said, Dr. Lisa, listen
The good ear.
with
That
empathy.
good ear. Get that wax out.
Ask, how can I help carry that with you? How can I help carry that with you? People can learn uh, more about your work. Do you have any upcoming events, books, programs, your website, your social media?
Yes. So first, before I share that, I want to say to you both, thank you for having this platform. Thank you for having me on the platform. For a long time, I do want to disclose this because I think this will help someone. So I grew up in the church. My husband technically did not. And I was trying to compare what my situation was going to look like to everybody else's situation because they both went to church.
Mm.
But here's what I've discovered: my situation is stronger and deeper because of our continuous watering process and our continuous movement to the same place instead of different directions. So I wanted to say that because I think we have so much history, especially as a community, that we allow to hold us hostage. And if you want to have that sustainable relationship, marriage, you're going to have to peel back those layers. So thank you for having this platform. And thank you for being an example to all of us with your double, y'all combined, y'all been married 100 years.
Almost.
That's a long time. Lord, I'm running. All right.
Yes,
So
yes. And you know what? That's what really connected Lucille and I. We was just talking about marriage in general. And I was like, oh, you've been married that long? I was like, girl, remember when? And we just like, yes.
I love it. So keep doing it until you have no breath in your lungs. So I would like to share that September 19th, 2026, here in the Chicagoland area, I am hosting my second annual Women's Empowerment Conference. It's titled Women Evolving, Igniting Growth, Healing, and Transformation. And I call it the WAIT Conference. And that conference will also be a celebration for my new book that's coming out, which is titled Shed the Weight, Achieve Personal Growth by Shedding What No Longer Serves You.
Excellent. Looking forward to reading that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I can't wait to read the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show book that's going to come out one day.
Well,
we got a lot to talk about. That's for sure.
You might be right. And I'm going to have y'all on my podcast where I interview authors, because y'all need to educate the folks. You've interviewed so many people. You got a lot of material that people need to know about. It's a master class.
Girl, I don't know. Life experiences. Well, it's one thing, I always said about a book. I always said, my husband and I, we might not always be in the same chapter, but we need to be in the same book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's always how I kind of view things. Like, he doesn't understand me. I'm sure, vice versa, but I'm like, okay, at least we're in the same book. I might be on chapter 15, you're already on chapter 50, but that's just how we flow. But we're in the same book. So we're going, like you say, in that same direction, maybe not at the same pace all the time, because I can read real quick and catch up, but.
Oh yeah, listen. And my husband says all the time, we'll get a contract to read. I be done read the whole thing and he's still on the first paragraph, but we on the same page. That's what matters.
Yeah. So I would like to say to our audience, thank you, Dr. Lisa, for being here. Has you. Please like and subscribe and share this episode with someone you care about. One conversation really, remember, stronger marriages don't just happen. They're built through intentional conversation. There's that word intentional again. Intentional love. Mm-hmm. Until next time, I'm Lucille Reddic, and this has been the Stronger, Deeper Marriage Show, where we believe real stronger marriage. God bless everyone.
God bless.
God bless.